Summer 1588. Europe's largest fleet, 130 ships, the Spanish Armada, dubbed Invincible, sails for England. Yet this mighty force was swiftly broken by a smaller, nimbler enemy. This clash redefined naval warfare and altered European history. How did the Invincible Armada meet its shattering defeat? Introduction and context. The year is 1588. Europe is a tinderbox of religious and political tension centered on two monarchs, King Philip II of Spain and Queen Elizabeth I of England. Philip, ruler of a vast Catholic empire, aimed to extinguish Protestantism in England, halt English aid to Dutch rebels, and stop privateers like Sir Francis Drake from plundering his treasure fleets. Queen Elizabeth I, the Protestant queen, faced a threat from the mighty Spanish Empire. Yet she was a formidable leader, determined to protect her crown. She'd even rejected Philip's marriage proposal. The execution of her Catholic cousin, Mary, Queen of Scots, in 1587, whom Philip supported, sealed his decision to invade. This wasn't just a power struggle. It was a clash of ideologies. What Philip called the enterprise of England, a crusade, the opposing forces, David versus Goliath. On paper, the Spanish Armada, Philip's great and most fortunate navy, was terrifying. 130 ships, including massive galleons, carrying 8,000 sailors and 18,000 soldiers. Their plan? Close in, board enemy ships, and let their soldiers dominate. A classic tactic. They had 2,500 cannons, but many were slow-firing siege guns, ill-suited for fast naval battles. Their leader, the Duke of Medina Sidonia, was a nobleman, not a seasoned admiral, and even suffered from seasickness, a fact he lamented to the king. The English fleet, under Lord Howard of Effingham, with veterans like Sir Francis Drake and Sir John Hawkins, was different. They mustered about 200 ships, many smaller private vessels. But their Royal Navy galleons were newer, smaller, quicker, and more agile. Critically, the English focused on gunnery. Their ships carried more lighter, longer-range culverins, and their crews were drilled for rapid reloading and firing. The English plan wasn't boarding. It was to use speed and superior guns to harass the Armada from a distance and break its formation. The voyage and initial encounters, a channel chase. The Armada sailed from Lisbon in May 1588, but was immediately hit by bad weather, forcing repairs and delays. It wasn't until late July that the Armada was sighted off Cornwall. Signal fires blazed along the English coast. The Armada was here. Philip's plan was for the Armada to sail up the English Channel, link with the Duke of Parma's 30,000-strong army in Flanders, and ferry these troops to Kent to march on London. As the Armada advanced in its defensive crescent formation, the English fleet, led by Drake, used their superior handling and longer-range cannons to harry the Spanish flanks. These early skirmishes caused some damage and unnerved the Spanish, but didn't stop them. The Armada's thick-hulled galleons endured, their formation largely intact. However, the constant attacks wore them down, preventing the close-quarters fight Spain desired. The fire ships at Calais, a night of chaos. By early August, the Armada anchored off Calais, waiting for word from the Duke of Parma and his army. But Parma was far from ready. His invasion barges were stuck in port, blockaded by shallow-draft Dutch ships. This delay would prove absolutely critical. The English commanders, Lord Howard and Sir Francis Drake, seized their opportunity. In the dead of night, early on August 8th, they unleashed a terrifying weapon: fire ships. They took 8 of their own vessels, packed them with anything flammable, set them ablaze, and sent them sailing with wind and tide right into the densely packed Spanish fleet. Absolute panic ripped through the Spanish. These blazing ships were terrifying enough, but the Spanish also vividly remembered the Hellburners, floating bombs that had caused horrific damage before. Fearing a repeat, Spanish captains desperately ordered anchor cables cut. Ships scattered in all directions. Ironically, the fire ships didn't burn many Spanish vessels, but their psychological impact was enormous. That strong, defensive crescent formation, utterly broken. The Battle of Gravelines, the climax. At sunrise on August 8th, the Spanish Armada was scattered and disorganized off the coast of Gravelines. Critically, the wind had shifted, giving the English the weather gauge, a massive advantage in sailing warfare, letting them dictate the engagement. Seeing their golden chance, the English moved in. What followed was about 8 brutal hours of non-stop fighting, the Battle of Gravelines. The quicker English ships, built for such combat, practically sailed rings around the slower Spanish galleons, unleashing devastating broadsides into their hulls. English gun crews, better trained and with cannons designed for faster reloading, kept up a furious rate of fire. Crucially, they aimed low at the waterline of the Spanish ships, causing terrible damage and many casualties. The Spanish were struggling. Their cannon fire was slower and less accurate. Those heavy siege guns were ill-suited for a fast-moving sea battle, and their preferred tactic of boarding was useless against the nimble English ships that wouldn't let them get close. To his credit, the Duke of Medina Sidonia fought with courage, his flagship, the San Martin, taking a real pounding. But he couldn't get his scattered fleet back into fighting order. By the time the fighting subsided, at least 5 Spanish ships were lost, and many more badly damaged, with thousands of Spanish dead or wounded. English battle losses were light, though they were critically low on ammunition. But it didn't matter. The damage to the Armada was done. The aftermath and retreat, the Protestant Wind. After Gravelines, the Armada was battered, their formation gone, ammo low, meeting Parma was impossible, and the wind pushed them towards the dangerous Zealand shoals. Annihilation seemed imminent. Then miraculously for the Spanish, the wind changed, allowing them to steer north. But escape meant a perilous journey. The English Channel blocked. Medina Sidonia chose the only route back to Spain, north around Scotland, and then south along Ireland's wild coast. This voyage through stormy seas proved deadlier than the battle. Already damaged ships were hammered by ferocious storms. Food and water ran out. Disease like typhus spread rampantly. Countless ships sank or were wrecked on the coasts of Scotland and Ireland. Many survivors who made it ashore were killed, though some found kindness. Of the 130 ships that sailed from Lisbon, only 60 or 70 battered wrecks returned to Spain, many beyond repair. An estimated 15,000 to 20,000 Spanish perished in the campaign. The invincible Armada was truly beaten. Consequences and significance. A world changed. The Armada's defeat was a turning point. Gravelines demonstrated the superiority of agile ships with powerful broadside gunnery over older boarding tactics, reshaping naval warfare. English ship design and gunnery became the new standard. While Spain's power didn't vanish overnight, it remained a major force and sent more armadas. The defeat was a severe blow to its prestige and control of the seas, perhaps marking the beginning of a slow decline. For England, the victory was immense. National pride soared, Elizabeth's legendary status grew, and the nation united. England emerged as a major sea power, setting the stage for its future empire. Many English believed the storms that wrecked the Armada, the Protestant Wind, were a sign of divine favor. The Armada's failure secured Protestantism in England and gave vital breathing room to the Dutch Republic in its fight for independence from Spain. Had the Armada succeeded, the religious and political map of Europe could have been drastically different. The Spanish Armada's 1588 defeat wasn't just one country beating another. It showcased English cleverness, bold tactics, and superior gunnery, alongside Spanish miscalculations and the crucial impact of weather. England's smaller, quicker ships, with better long-range guns and skilled commanders, outfought a supposedly invincible fleet. While propaganda played its part, the truth is clear. A nation facing invasion defended itself, and in doing so, changed history. Beating the Armada saved England, announced its arrival as a major sea power, and rewrote the rules of naval warfare. Thanks for watching our exploration of the Battle of Gravelines. If you enjoyed this journey, please like this video and subscribe for more historical deep dives. What other pivotal moments in history should we cover? Let us know in the comments.